Genesis chapter 18. And Yahweh appeared to him by the oaks of Mamre, as he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and, lo, 3 men stood over against him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself to the earth. And said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in your sight, pass not away, I pray you, from your servant. Let now a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will get a morsel of bread, and you strengthen your hearts. And after that you shall pass on, forasmuch as ye are come to your servant. And they said, So do, as you have said. And Abraham hurried into the tent toward Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it to the servant, and he made haste to dress it. And he took butter, and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said to him, Where is Sarah your wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return to you when the season comes around, and, lo, Sarah your wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well advanced in age, and it had ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. And Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am grown old shall I have this pleasure, with my master being old as well? And Yahweh said to Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I really bear a child, who am old? Is anything too hard for Yahweh? At the set time I will return to you, when the season comes around, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh. For she was afraid. And he said, On the contrary, you did laugh. And the men rose up from there, and looked toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And Yahweh said, Shall I hide from Abraham that which I am doing? Seeing that Abraham had surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I have known him, to the end that he may command his children and his household after him, that they may keep the way of Yahweh, to do righteousness and justice, to the end that Yahweh may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. And Yahweh said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous. I will go down now, and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which has come to me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned from there, and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before Yahweh. And Abraham drew near, and said, Will you consume the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous persons within the city. Will you consume, and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous that are in there? That be far from you to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, such that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And Yahweh said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sake. And Abraham answered and said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak to the Lord, I who am but dust and ashes. Suppose there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous, will you destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, I will not destroy it, if I find there 45. And he spoke to him yet again, and said, Suppose there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for the 40's sake. And he said, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak, suppose there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it, if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak to the Lord, suppose there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the 20's sake. And he said, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but this once, suppose 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the 10's sake. And Yahweh went his way, as soon as he had left off communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place.